It also requires personal documents like one passport size photograph, one copy of your passport, PAN card, driving license, school certificate, birth certificate, LIC policy, banker's sign verification, one copy of last month's phone bill, first and last page of ration card, title deed property, rental agreement, driving license. Now, let's understand the various steps involved from applying to disbursement of housing loan. Requirement analysis, application form, bank's field investigation, credit card appraisal by the bank, and loan sanction, offer letter. There are some other steps as well, like submission of legal documents and legal check, technical valuation check, valuation, registration of the property documents, signing of agreements, and submitting post-dated checks with this final disbursement and with this final disbursement is initiated. Remember, the sanctioned loan amounts depends on the purpose of the loan. Generally, banks sanction up to rupees 100 lakhs for the purchase of house and up to rupees 5 lakhs for renovation or upgradation. The applicant should submit age, address and identification proof like a copy of borrower's school leaving certificate, driving license, passport, ration card, PAN card, election commission's card, domicile certificate. The applicant also needs to submit the proof of income and employment details. However, these details need to be backed up by copies of last 3 years' income tax returns, along with copies of computation of income, annual accounts, if any, Form 16 or Form 16A, last 3 months' salary slips, copies of last 6 months' statements of all borrowers' active bank accounts in which borrower's salary or business income details are reflected, etc. For salaried applicant, latest salary slips with all deduction, and for self-employed persons, certified computation of income for past 2 years, certified profit and loss account, and balance sheet are necessary. There is a requirement for property documents also, such as stamped and registered sale agreement, agreement for sale, builder's NOC, occupation certificate from local self-government, all mother documents, chain documents, society NOC, title clearance certificate from panel advocate, valuation report, indemnity bond, share certificate, layout plans, location plan, copy of will if second sale, release deed with all legal heirs. Along with the application form and the credit documents, banks also ask for a processing fee. This fee varies from bank to bank but is usually around 0.25% to 0.50% of the total loan amount. The bank checks all borrowers' information including borrower's existing residential address, borrower's place of employment, employer credentials, residence and work telephone numbers. Representatives are sent to borrower's workplace or residence to verify the details. The bank establishes the repayment capacity based on borrower's income, age, qualifications, experience, employer, nature of business if self-employed, etc. And based on these, workers offer letter. Once the loan is sanctioned, an offer letter is sent mentioning the following details: loan amount, rate of interest, whether fixed or variable rate of interest linked to a reference, tenure of the loan, mode of repayment. If the loan is under some special scheme, then the details of the scheme, general terms and condition of the loan, special conditions if any, acceptance copy. If the borrower agrees with what is mentioned in the offer letter, he will have to sign a duplicate letter of the same for the bank's records. Earlier, banks used to charge administrative fees along with the offer letter. Once the borrower selects his property, he needs to hand over the entire set of original documents pertaining to the property to the bank so that it can keep them as security for the loan amount given to the borrower. These normally include the title documents of the seller, which prove the seller's title, including the chain of title documents if he is not the first owner. NOCs from the legal owners such as cooperative housing societies, statutory development authorities, the lessor of the land, in case of the leasehold land, etc. NOCs are not required where the property is situated on freehold land and the entire land is being transferred along with the structure. Location sketch. Encumbrance certificate that requires that there are no binding legal issues on the land or property for a particular period of years. Every bank conducts a legal check on the borrower's documents to validate their authenticity. The documents are sent to the lawyer in their panel, either in-house or outsourced, for a thorough scrutiny. The lawyer's reports either gives a go-ahead if the documents are clear, or it may ask for a further set of documents. The report given by the lawyer is called legal scrutiny report and instrumental in final approval of the loan. Banks are extremely careful about the property they plan to finance. They send an expert to visit the premises the borrower intends to purchase. This expert could either be a bank employee or he could belong to a firm of architects or civil engineers. The site visits to borrower's property are to verify the following. In case of construction property, stage of construction is the same as that mentioned in the payment notice given to the borrower by the builder. Quality of construction, satisfactory progress of work, layout of flats and area of property is within the permissions granted by the governing authority. The builder has the requisite certificates to start construction at the site. Valuation of the property in relation to the other deals is the surrounding areas. In case of ready of resale construction, several things are verified like external, internal maintenance of the property, the age of building, will the building last the loan tenure? This has a direct bearing on the borrower's loan eligibility since the loan tenure will be restricted to the maximum age of the property as decided by the bank's engineer. This will impact the borrower's loan eligibility, quality of the construction, surrounding area, etc. Whether the builder has received the requisite certificates for handing over the possession of the flat, there is no existing lien or mortgage on the property, and finally, the valuation of the property in relation to the other deals in the surrounding areas. Valuation has become a key parameter in determining the loan amount that can be sanctioned by the bank. The valuation process is quite subjective and dependent on the quality and ability of a person sent by the bank for valuation. Let's move on to signing the home loan agreement. All the borrowers need to sign the home loan agreement. The borrower also needs to submit post-dated checks as agreed mode of repayment. The original property documents have to be handed over to the bank at this stage. Some banks also create a document recording the handing over of the property documents to them as a security for the due repayment of the home loan. This document is also called a memorandum of entry and attracts significant stamp duty dependent on the amount of loan or in some states. The stamp duty payable on such memorandum is naturally recovered from the borrower. Not all banks create this memorandum and hence the stamp duty may or may not be applicable dependent on the practice of that specific bank. However, even where there is no such memorandum of entry is created, the concerned state government may, in the future, demand a stamp duty on the loan transaction, which naturally is recoverable from the borrower as per the home loan agreement signed by the borrower. In this step, the banks ask the borrower to submit the following documents that provides information regarding the home loan. They are blueprint of the plan with approval by the local body, corporation or municipality. The estimates of the cost certified by an engineer. After these documents are scrutinized, the disbursement of the loan is done. Usually, loans are disbursed on the basis of the stage of construction of the property. So, in case of the resale or ready possession properties, the disbursement is full and final. However, in case of under construction properties, usually loans are disbursed on the basis of the stage of construction of the property. So, in case of the resale or ready possession properties, the disbursement is full and final. However, in case of under construction properties, also known as part disbursement, after the bank has ensured that the property is legally and technically clear, all original documents pertaining to the transfer of ownership of property in the borrower's favors has been submitted and all the necessary loan agreements have been executed, the bank makes a disbursement of the loan subject to the maximum of 85% of the loan amount. And the rest 15% is the margin money that the borrower has to put up front. The check will be in the name of the reseller for resale flats, builder, society, or the development authority. It is only in exceptional circumstances, that is, if the borrower provides documents to support that he or she has made an access payment from their account, that the check will be handed over to the borrower directly by the bank. As per RBI guidelines, it is imperative that the bank disburses loans to the customers within 15 days of the submission of documents. Before disbursement, an equitable mortgage is created. This is done with the borrower agreeing in principle with the intention to create a mortgage. The bank asks the borrower to send an inland letter to the bank expressing interest to create a mortgage along with the submission of the documents. Along with the equitable mortgage, other legal documents are required to be adequately stamped.